Meet Stan. This morning, Stan had one thing to do. Go for a run. That is it. One thing, and all day to do it. He scrolled instead. He snacked. He told himself he would start in 5 minutes. And now it is dark out, the run never happened, and Stan is melted into the couch feeling like a complete failure. You know Stan. You might be Stan right now. So, here's the twist. For Stan, and for you. That guilt he is feeling is the lie, not the laziness. Stan is not broken, and he is not weak. His brain is doing something it spent 1,000,000 years getting very, very good at. And the reason he feels so guilty about it traces back to a demon that a monk invented in the desert 1,600 years ago. Everybody knows this feeling. The task is right there. You even want to do it, and your body just will not launch. We call it laziness, and we treat it like a flaw in your character. But stop and ask the real question. Why would evolution build a creature that is bad at doing things? It wouldn't. What it actually built is a creature that is brilliant at not wasting energy, and those are not the same thing, even though they feel like it. Because your brain, underneath everything else it does, is an energy accountant. For almost all of human history, food was scarce and never guaranteed. Every calorie you burned was a calorie you might desperately need later, when a predator showed up or the next meal didn't. So your brain evolved one ruthless rule. Never spend effort you do not have to spend. Scientists call it the law of least effort, and it runs so deep you do not even notice it. When you walk across a room, your body is constantly making tiny adjustments to use the least energy possible. You are, right down to the cell, tuned to do as little as you can get away with. That is not a defect. That is the setting that kept your ancestors alive. So, when Stan cannot make himself lace up those shoes, that is not weakness talking. That is his brain running a quiet calculation. The effort of the run on one side, the reward on the other, and the reward, being a little healthier in some far-off future, is fuzzy and far away, so the brain votes, not worth it, and pulls the plug. The exact instinct that once stopped Stan's ancestors from wandering off and burning energy for no reason is the one gluing him to the couch tonight. The wiring is perfect. It just never got the memo that the danger is gone and the fridge is full. Okay, so if doing nothing is this natural, this built in, why on earth does it feel like a sin? Because strangely, it once literally was one. Rewind to the deserts of Egypt around the 4th century. Christian monks are living alone, trying to focus on God all day, and they keep getting ambushed by a very specific enemy. It hits in the heat of the afternoon. A heavy, restless, hollow feeling where you cannot care about anything and cannot sit still. They gave it a name, acedia, and they called it the noonday demon. A monk named Evagrius wrote it down as one of the 8 great temptations of the human soul. A couple of centuries later, the church tidied that list of 8 down to 7. Acedia got folded in and given a new name, one you already know, sloth, one of the 7 deadly sins. So, sit with that for a second. The very first time anyone declared not feeling like it to be evil, it had nothing to do with work or chores. It was a spiritual demon that haunted monks at lunchtime. For a long time, that is all it was, a religious idea. Then came the part that actually planted the guilt in your chest today. As workshops turned into factories, a powerful new idea took hold, that hard work itself was holy, and idle time was wasted time, stolen from God and, very conveniently, from your boss. Clocks went up on the walls, living to work became a virtue you could brag about, and resting got quietly rebranded, from a normal thing every human does into a moral failure. That judgment never left. Every time you feel guilty for doing nothing, you are feeling the echo of a few 100-year-old sales pitch. So here's the quiet truth underneath all of it. There is nothing wrong with you. 2 things are colliding inside you, and neither one is a flaw. The first is an ancient, genuinely brilliant instinct to conserve energy. The thing that carried humans through 100,000 years of scarcity. The second is a much newer idea that says that instinct is shameful. You are not lazy. You are a finely tuned survival machine, being graded by a rule book that was written to keep factories running. which means lazy was never really one thing. Sometimes it is your brain correctly telling you the reward is not worth the effort, and honestly, that one is worth listening to. And sometimes it is a task that looks enormous to your energy-saving brain, but is actually small once you are moving, because the first step always costs the most, and your inner accountant charges you for the whole journey up front. The fix was never to shame yourself harder. It is to shrink that first step until the accountant stops objecting. You are not fighting a weakness. You are negotiating with a very old, very stubborn instinct. So the next time it is you on that couch, the run not done, that little voice calling you lazy, you will know what is really happening. A million-year-old survival instinct just ran into a few hundred-year-old guilt trip, and you, like Stan, got caught in the middle. You were never broken. You have just been running very, very old software. And now, at least, you know who wrote it.